Real Spiel Morning Show. It's your host, Roman Kelly here. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I'm missing my co-host, Trevor Kelsey. He should be on the way. I'll give you an update on that soon. We're going to talk UofL basketball and a little bit of UofL football, just a little bit of UofL football with there being a big game tomorrow as well. Big game today. Louisville has made it to the championship game in the Battle For Atlantis. We're going to get into all the details about that. I'm going to have a special guest on as well alongside me and Trevor. If Trevor does make it in today, I'm going to go ahead and get this all started. The special guest will be a close colleague of mine. I'm not going to tell you. We'll just get him that link sent and shoot him a text. But yes, it's the Real Spill Morning Show. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's post-Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving hangover, food coma. I've eaten leftovers already last night. I'm having a good morning. I'm having a great morning. Louisville basketball has given me some life that I have needed and wanted and have been waiting for quite some time now. We talked yesterday, me and Trevor did on Thanksgiving morning, but I had a lot of issues with the stream. The audio and video was just completely messed up, and I have not actually checked my settings yet. Let me go and do this. Microphone, default input, that's what we want. The Zoom T4. Default kind of does scare me still. But we're not coming out of the camera. And the speakers are the USB audio device, which is what we want. It was all choppy and messed up. None of the audio and video was linked up, and when it was choppy. So me and Trevor went on and decided to delete that and not really advertise it. I did some testing last night. Some of you may have saw. We had about 10 viewers total. The testing last night was to try to figure out the issues. So if I'm choppy, if there's delayed audio, if any of that is happening currently, drop down in the comments below and let me know, please. I'm gonna check that and try to figure that out in live time. But hopefully I fixed it all last night. I figured out the issue. I'm thinking I did. We've got my special guest in here. Yours truly, Mr. Raashaan Meyers from Wake Up 502, our Saturday morning radio show, and from Breakdown 502, our weekly Louisville recap show. Raashaan.
What's up, Roman? How you doing, brother?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Now, I will let you know, just from an audio check standpoint, you sound like you're on the camera mic again instead of the mic in your hand. So,
no, is that what's happening again?
I will tell you that just from our testing fun last night.
All right. Let me see if I can fix that.
So
if I can fix that.
Like I can hear you, but it's got the
How's that? Does that
There you go. There you go. Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, I hate that it sounded bad that long.
Yeah, you had the cave echo going on. You had the cave echo going
All right. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Real Spill Morning Show. I don't know if you were able to even make out what I was saying that first 4 minutes, but this is my colleague, mentor, yours truly, Mr. Raashaan Meyers. Thank you for coming on and joining me this fine day after Thanksgiving morning here.
Absolutely.
This Good Friday, this amazing Friday of sports and college basketball and Louisville basketball, to be more specifically here, Raashaan.
Hey, man, we are back. Like this is what you talk about, feast week. Louisville fans have been feasting for the last since last Saturday. That they get a little taste of at least being happy again to see that Louisville could bounce back from Stanford and act like they knew what they were doing on a football field. So you get the win over Pittsburgh, get the dominant win over Pittsburgh, which made people feel at least a little bit better that the season wasn't falling apart. And then you take that momentum and, what the Cardinals have done, Pat Kelsey and crew going down to the Bahamas, man, has just been amazing. So, it is awesome. So
It has
everybody's
been.
smiling. The turkey tastes a little bit better, Roman, when the Cardinals are winning.
It does. It does. I was enjoying my Thanksgiving very much yesterday. It was like the perfect cap to or start. It was like the perfect start to the actual true festivities of Thanksgiving. So I enjoyed it. Raashaan, I want to ask you a few questions
Okay.
more so about the not just yesterday, but against Indiana as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get to your some thoughts, get your opinion on some things, okay?
Absolutely.
Going into the or concluding on these two games and what you've seen in these two performances, what has surprised you most in our play down there in the Bahamas?
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing that has surprised me most has been how well Louisville's been able to play without having Corin Johnson or Kadir Traore available. And I say that just to say that, we knew coming in that Louisville had a lot of depth, but the one spot where they didn't necessarily have a lot of depth was in the backcourt in terms of your pure ball handling playmakers. Okay, like it was seen as if at all times you were going to either have to have Chucky Hepburn or Corin Johnson on the court to be able to, handle those duties, especially versus Power Five type of opposition. So the fact that Louisville's been able to go down there, and Chucky has been able to handle a heavy load as well as being able to steal minutes when he's on the bench and still have some type of offense and still have some type of flow offensively and defensively. So I mean, I think that's been the biggest revelation is that Louisville is finding ways. I know they've been playing a lot of Terrence Edwards Jr. At the point
Primary ball
while Chucky's out. Yeah, like it seems like at least defensively, that's what Terrence is doing. And I, everybody knows from following me on Twitter, I've been hard on Terrence.
You have been.
Terrence.
I was going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah, and we can definitely get into it. But one thing I will say is that I will give Terrence credit because he's not allowing his issues offensively to impact his defense. His defense has been outstanding. His effort has been outstanding. And I think that's probably the biggest revelation so far is that the Cardinals can not only hold on and carry on without having those two guys as part of the rotation, but they can actually thrive and do well.
Yeah, his defense has impressed me in both of these games so far. Not to say that he's been a bad defender before this, but he's been what has looked like an elite defender on the ball. He has his moments where he lets too much separation gets created with the ball handler.
Definitely. I mean, but for a guy who's a little bit slower of foot, I don't think he has elite quickness. He's been good. He's been good.
His active hands, his block shots, his deflections, it's all been there. And it's been a pleasure to see. And you're right. That has been one thing because while Chucky has been able to steal some minutes off or get some minutes onto to rest and have Terrence Edwards go out there and not let it deteriorate at the least, you can still see the difference when Chucky's off the court. And to know that Corin is that other ball handler that we brought in who can go in and kind of conduct offense. We've already seen him have 6+, 7+ games in a Louisville jersey already. Like we know that he can keep his dribble alive, find the open man, get around guys, kind of, probe the paint and find that open three. We've already seen him do it. And not having that down there in a neutral setting where the defense is, teams are out there testing different lineups, testing different defensive strategies and trying to go out there and be kind of just as aggressive as possible in a tournament setting. Not having that second primary ball handler that you can, that you're trusting can go out there and start off the sets correctly and kind of conduct where people need to be and stuff. It can be worrisome. And Rain Smith is not really one of those kind of guards. He's definitely like an undersized 2 guard. He's an off ball kind of a guard. He's running off screens, trying to get open. When he does get the ball, don't get it twisted. He can put the ball into the floor and get into the paint if he needs to, but he's not really that playmaker with the ball in his hand. He is more of the kind of player that is if he has to put the ball on the floor, it's usually in an attacking the basket kind of a sense to avoid a trap or trouble.
And Roman, we won't talk about those 2-and-1s. He had 2-and-1s he should have had where he got the bucket and the foul, and they took
didn't
those
count
away
the one,
from
right?
Him. No, they didn't count either one of them.
They didn't count either one?
No, they were both on the floor fouls. Take it out on the sideline when he should
you're
have had
right.
2 and 1s.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
was with the right hand where he bobbled. That was clearly an and one. Like
Yes.
he didn't get fouled until after he touched the ball with 2 hands. So I
Yes.
don't understand that.
Terrible, terrible. But I mean, stuff like that, man. Like Rain Smith, it's funny because everybody, the easy comparison, right, is Ryan McMahon for Rain Smith.
Yeah.
But I will say that Rain Smith is more what we hoped Ryan McMahon would become, because Rain Smith is a guy that is not just defined by his shooting, his toughness, his nose for the ball. There was one play where there was a loose ball that was going out of bounds, and Rain ran and tipped the ball up and over the opposing player to get the fast break going. Like stuff like that. He's a very smart, very tough, very active player, man.
Very savvy, very good with his hands.
Yes.
And he's clearly just high IQ. He's smart. He's going to go after those 50-50 balls. He's going to put his body on the line. He's not afraid of contact. He's not going to shy away from any moment on the basketball floor. There was a moment out there yesterday where he looked like he was guarding the second tallest guy out there for a couple sets.
Yeah. I mean, he's a basketball player. Like, he looks like a professional. He's going to play. Rain Smith is going to get paid to play this game. It may not be, of course, in the NBA because of his size, but he's going to make a lot of money playing professional basketball.
He plays it the right way. Yeah. He plays the game the right way. And I know that people like that cliche, but he does literally the small fundamental things, and then the extra, extra effort, extra mile things, the things you can't teach. He's like a TJ McConnell with a real jump shot, except
absolutely
minus the play make. Like, TJ can actually run a true pick and roll offense if you need him to. Yeah. But just in the sense of what they're doing off the ball and those extra possessions, those things that those guys that are usually a little bit smaller on the court have to do to make up for the ways in which they're lacking, right? So, and he definitely makes up for it. Rain has been impressing me on both ends of the floor, But you understand why Terrence is the one out there that's being that secondary, primary ball handler, because I know that sounded funny. The second primary ball handler, not the secondary primary, but the second primary ball handler behind Chucky, because you want Rain off the ball. You want him running off those screens and trying to get open. You don't really, want him being the center of attention, because that's kind of not giving him the chance to go and use his abilities to the best.
I mean, that's one of the things, because Rain is such a dangerous shooter. When he's running around those screens, the defense has to pay so much attention to what he's doing that when he runs around a screen, 2 guys are going with him. That actually opens up other guys, when they cut back door. That can leave guys wide open. We saw Javon Hadley get a couple of post up plays where you're running a Rain off of a screen. So now Javon has that whole open side to be able to post, get the ball and go. And you can't leave if you're on Rain Smith's side. You can't leave him. So that means Javon can have that back down 1-2.
Exactly.
No help's coming. I mean, it's just smart. It's smart offense. It's smart.
Or the help man, the screener's defender, the help man is helping on Rain, right? Because the other guy can't keep up. Rain's man can't keep up, and he's on his tail. Like, that's just, if you are smart and can see that the person with the ball can see that in live time, we should be creative. That's why we create easier shots when Rain's on the floor. That's exhibit A right there on why we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's beautiful basketball to watch, brother. I'm loving it.
Talk me through this West Virginia game, though. What were the highlights of that game and some things that maybe surprised you in that game?
So, the thing about the West Virginia game, it was very interesting because West Virginia is a very physical, aggressive, on-the-ball defensive team. And it was very interesting early in that game because it reminded me so much of the Tennessee game. Where every time we tried to get into screen roll, every time we tried to get
they were pressed up. Yep.
Yes, they
pressed
were
up and trying to deny ball. Yeah,
going up screens, doing all the things that Tennessee did, and we saw early on in that game, Roman, that it took us completely out of our offense.
Yeah,
it did. It looked like the Tennessee game. Like, the only difference was West Virginia didn't come out, shooting just with just crazy hot shooting the way Tennessee did,
and bail out threes with 2 seconds left on the shot clock every time we did defend well. That was there wasn't a lot of that going on. Even though there was, Javon Small had a few of those. It felt like every time we played great defense, he would just step back And
those 2 step back threes near the end of the half when, when we were looking to try to, push this thing out and finally got our offense going. Small hit those 2 step back threes, and I was like, man, we done let this team get confident. We didn't take advantage early. And I almost broke
you get
my
worried?
television. I almost broke my television last night, Roman.
Really?
Yes, I almost broke my TV. Literally.
Do you remember the play?
I remember the play, and I'll tell you, it didn't happen until in the second half. But when we were up 3, I think I want to say Rain had just missed a wide open 3. It was either Rain. It was either the 3 from Rain. I think it was where Rain shot the air ball.
Mm-hmm.
We ran the play. Rain had a wide open shot.
Noah had an air ball too, though, in the second half, didn't he?
Key. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Noah
I know
had
what you're talking about, though.
well. But
Noah
we
had
were
one in the
up
corner.
3. Rain had a wide open 3. Rain shoots an air ball, and then we come right back down the other end. Javon Small pushes off to clear space from Chucky and shoots a wide open 3 and hits the 3 to tie the game with about 3 minutes left, 2.5, 3 minutes left. That play, I almost broke my television. I had a remote on the floor, and I kicked the remote when it happened. I was so pissed off, I kicked the remote, and the remote goes and flies up towards the TV. But let me tell you something. It hit the side of the TV and kind of just slid off. But if it was an inch to the left, I would have broken my television. I would have.
Wow. That would have made for an interesting rest of the Thanksgiving day right there. You'd be out you'd be in a line right now getting a new TV.
Yes. So I did. I came that close to breaking my. When Small hit that 3 and tied that game up, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me."
I see.
But that's all right.
I just realized something here. I'm going to. Sorry to take you to pause here. One of the perks of being a live radio show is that sometimes I have to just do live radio stuff. I'm producing here as well, folks. I'm going to send this to Trevor as well, just in case he wakes up right now or something. He hasn't texted me back is the only issue. Normally he's texted me he normally texts me immediately. So he's probably asleep. And he's still going to want to talk. I know he is. So I'm going to try to send him that link.
He was sneaking in that Thanksgiving turkey last night. He got that midnight snack.
I know he said he was going to be fine, but I mean, yeah, he must have got up and got some Thanksgiving turkey in when he wasn't planning to, which is whatever.
How was your Thanksgiving, by the way, Roman?
Thank you for asking. I had a wonderful Thanksgiving, Raashaan. So I normally have a 2-house Thanksgiving every Thanksgiving where I go to my stepmom's family's home with my dad, my brother, and my stepmom. We go to her parents' house, which are right around the corner from where they live, my dad and stepmom. Okay. And that's where we've been going for years. They have one family friend, one set of family friends who are my stepmom's parents' family friends. But they're my parents' age. Okay. Like the wife and husband and their 2 kids. The 2 kids are younger. They're younger than my little brother. But they're family friends. So it's a small little intimate setting there. But this year was a little different. So I have a girlfriend. Her name's Holly. Shout out to Holly. I went to Holly's family's Thanksgiving. And because it was a little bit earlier and it was in the same neighborhood that my parents live in alongside with my stepmom's parents. I went there early in the day during the game. Game was on.
Were you getting the mean mug from any of the family members when you went to the girlfriend's house? Who is this?
No. So I had met majority of them before.
Okay.
A couple of the younger ones were making some TikToks about when your family members have in a new relationship and stuff. But they were being silly. They didn't seem to mind at all. Awesome. And the her older family members were all, that no one made me feel unwelcomed in any way.
Okay,
so that was great. Brought her along to meet my stepmom's grandparents and stuff like that. So that was cool. And then my mom's side of the family, because my dad's family lives in Jacksonville. My mom's side of the family is from here, but my mom lives in St. Louis, so I don't get to see her on Thanksgiving. We see each other for Christmas or New Year's and stuff. But I still go see her aunt and my cousins, and get that black soul food cooked Thanksgiving.
Yes, gotta have it. Absolutely.
The collard greens and the macaroni and the turkey legs. The cornbread. It's a tradition. It's tradition every Thanksgiving. So she actually had a later Thanksgiving going on. She cooked at a family friend's house, and it's not a very, very, very big stove, so it took a little bit longer than planned. Her food wasn't ready till the evening, but went and picked some food up from her, took some food from her to some cousins and stuff, and got back home before that food was cold and it was still hot. Got to chow down and enjoy some Thanksgiving dinner. And
nice.
Fell asleep earlier than planned, but it's all good. It's all good.
That means it was a good day. It was a good day.
Great Thanksgiving. We're on the morning show. We're missing Trevor. I've got his setup here ready to go for him. We'll see if he makes it
running in. Yeah. It's like,
but before we preview this championship game tonight at 5:30 on what are you on ESPN2, Raashaan?
I believe so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're on ESPN. I think just straight up ESPN, I guess, because it's a championship game. I want to talk to you about tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Big game.
Yeah.
The University of Louisville football was traveling down to Lexington Kroger Field to take on the University of Kentucky Wildcats. Talk to me, Raashaan. You've been feeling confident. You were telling me last night with me. I've been feeling good for months, if I'm being honest. As soon as I knew that Brock Vandegrift was who this team was going with, I felt great. And then even if the news that we got last week about who will now be starting this football game, logic says I should feel even greater. I should feel even better. They're throwing a true freshman in, Raashaan Cutter-Boley.
I love it.
I love it.
I want them to put the true freshman in.
Please. I do too. This is their bowl game. They're not fighting for bowl eligibility here. They're fighting for a 5-7 season or to avoid a 4-8 season, which funny thing is they're not firing Mark Stoops at 4-8 unless he gets, I think, absolutely destroyed in this game. And they're not firing him at 5-7, obviously, if you're not firing him at 4-8. He commands too much money at the moment. I don't think are feeling like there's a candidate out there that can put them in a better position to make paying what they're going to have to pay Mark Stoops as a fired coach worth it at the moment. So yeah, they're not paying that buyout. They're not going to do that at the moment. I don't think this outcome matters for him. I don't think it matters for Ron English or Jeff Brom in any way, shape, or definitely not Jeff Brom. But from what it sounds like, I don't think it really is going to impact Ron English either, unless he goes on to lose this game miserably. Raashaan, how do you feel about that? Just before we go into the breakdown of the X's and O's and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Ron English, I think that die's been cast anyway. I just think that there's going to be a mutual parting of ways after this season.
Really?
In my personal opinion, I just think that Louisville's going in a different direction. I don't think
because the fan base that wants Ron English out so bad.
Yeah, and I think that Jeff Brom, even himself, he's not been mincing words about his issues with the defense. And while Ron English has, while the defense has been better, like you're still 2 weeks removed from being the first Power 5 or Division I FBS team to give up 30 points to Stanford, and that can't happen.
Worst loss of the season, easily one of the worst losses of the
history in Louisville football history, one of the worst ever.
History.
So
regular season, sure.
I think Ron English's time at Louisville's done, period. So regardless of what happens in this game, Ron English to me will be looking for a new job next year. Now, having said that, I think that Louisville defensively, I've continued to say it was never about the talent on the field. It was about the organization, and it was about putting guys in the best position to succeed. Now, I do think that for this Louisville team, I think the reason for the sleepy starts, and this is something that I've been, as the season has gone along, I've continued to look at. I don't think that Louisville did a great job of recruiting the right type of on-field motivational personalities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your best players or your most talented players, but you have to have those guys that get the other team fired up. And I just don't think they've had that this year. I don't think that that's the personality of Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck definitely has the attitude of, hey, I'm here to ball out, get paid, and leave.
He's just a chill guy.
He is. He's not a rah-rah in your face. I mean, that's one thing about Jack Plummer. Jack Plummer was a guy who was a motivational guy. Jack Plummer wasn't the best player, but he was a very team first. You can tell by the way
he's
he
hyping his teammates up after big plays. He's getting hype, yelling, getting lit with his teammates for sure. Probably, I want to say he did some pregame speeches too.
Yeah, like Tyler Shuck will go out there, throw a 45-yard touchdown pass, kind of raise one hand in there, and then
look concerned. He'll look concerned, like he's not sure if Brom's going to be happy with that or not.
Yeah, like Shuck just didn't have that attitude, and I think that's one of the reasons the offensively that we were sleepy is like I feel like the talent was there. I just don't think you had that motivational guy, and I don't think we had that on the defensive side either. I felt like Stephen Herron, the transfer from Stanford that played at Trinity, I thought that Stephen Herron was like the emotional heartbeat of the defense last year. I thought that he was kind of that rah-rah motivational guy to get everybody locked in, focused, to go out there and play hard, and I don't think the defense had that either. So I think that besides the fact that there were a lot of functional issues with the defense in terms of getting play calls in and in terms of getting guys lined up, I also think that motivation was a problem all year. And I think that's one of the reasons that we never saw guys grabbing each other's face masks, knocking guys upside the head. Like, that's not Ashton Gelati's mentality. That's not TJ Quinn's mentality. That's not, none of these guys are those types of personalities. And because of that, that was an issue all year long. So I think that's one thing that Brom will address in the offseason is making sure he has those types of motivational guys that can get in there and get the other team fired up. But I do think that the defensive coordinator position is going to change as well. I just don't think that Ron English is going to, like, Brom feels a lot of pressure to succeed. And I think that with that being the case, even with him and English being friends, I just think that, that die's already been cast.
I like that. I'd like for a step down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all. A little bit of a understanding you haven't done good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just can't. I mean, honestly, you just can't. You can't. This was a season where Louisville should be in the playoff. Like, I know that's, for any team to say you should be in a playoff.
We should be 10-2, Raashaan.
At worst. Louisville should be 10-2 and in the playoff. So, like, with that, you can't waste playoff opportunities. And this was a wasted year. And the defense is the reason. You cannot have a top 20, honestly, defense last year.
You should be going into this game 9-2. You should be going into this game 9-2. That's what let me put it like that. You should be going into this game 9-2.
Yeah, I mean, but I just think when you spent as much money on NIL defensively as you did, you brought back, you spent a lot of money and had the opportunity to bring back Quincy Riley and bring back Ashton Gelati. You wasted this year because your defense wasn't ready to play.
Yep,
that's
great way to put it.
It is what it is. Louisville spent more money on defense NIL wise than they did offensively.
And we were thinking we were going to be a defensive minded team, and the offense was going to be the question mark.
We expected the defense to go up to maybe top 10, like top 10, top 15.
We were worried about the running back room, and if Ja'Cory Brooks was going to be good enough.
Yeah, and it ended up being the defense that cost us everything. Honestly, defense cost us everything. It cost us the SMU game, cost us the Miami game, cost us the Stanford game. That's 3 games right there where if your defense is top 40, you win all 3 of those games.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's wild, isn't it? Yeah. If your defense is top 40, you win all 3 of those games and probably beat Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you shot yourself in the foot just enough to where I understand the Notre Dame loss.
I mean, but you're running guys in. You're running guys in late, having 12 men on the field, penalties, not being able to get aligned up, and Notre Dame's coming up and snapping the ball before your defense is aligned. Like, those are things that should not happen. Like, I can point out big-time defensive gaffes in all those games. I mean, hell, they even happened against Boston College. We were just able to score enough to get by those issues against Boston College, and, you have 2 great special teams plays that win you the game versus Georgia Tech, but you had big-time defensive errors in that game as well. Like, the defense has been horrible.
It has
You
been.
know, and I think Stanford was the death blow. You cannot lose to Stanford and keep your job.
You can't.
No.
You can't. Let's take a little bit of a shift here into the game itself, Raashaan.
Definitely.
Kroger Field tomorrow, Saturday, noon. Tickets as low as $21, folks. If you want to get your stuff down there. Looking
There's
like there
no
won't
chance
be
I'm going to that game. Not a chance in hell.
gonna be cold. It's gonna be a lot of vulgar, inappropriate Kentucky fans there. Not
So
anything
annoying.
you want to really be around unless it's a guaranteed victory, which at the moment we can't say is a thing.
I'm guaranteeing victory.
I have guaranteed victories as well. I've guaranteed it as well already. 27-24. I'm feeling even better that we've at the moment. I'm feeling like we score more than 27 points and that Kentucky scores less than 24 points. But I've stood on 27-24 all year. They've got this Cutter Boley kid starting, true freshman. Yeah, he can sling it. Yeah, he's got an arm or whatever. And yes, he is a athlete in the sense that when he needs to run, he can run fast, but he is not a running quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, Raashaan. I'm feeling really good. I don't think this team is this Kentucky team is going into this game with a whole lot to play for, other than the fact that this is now what is their chance to have a big win, like in their eyes, I guess.
Right.
That's the only factor they have really going into this game. There could be some opt-outs still. I think, Raashaan, we don't.
The thing about this game, Roman, is you have to understand that Mark Stoops is playing a political game with this game right now. Let me tell you why he's starting.
I know. Go ahead and tell us. You can explain it better than me, but I have I'm feeling I understand.
Mark Stoops is playing the political game because he's starting Cutter Boley in the hopes that, everybody's pissed off at him right now. Everybody wants him to be fired. But if he can go out there, start the freshman, and get a win, then he's like, look, y'all, see,
look what we've got going into next year.
Exactly. Look, this is the kid that we're going to build around for the next 2 or 3 years. So that it takes the heat off of him and shows that we have expectations of progress moving forward. So this is the last pivot that he has. It is the Cutter Boley pivot. Okay, so that's the whole point of what he's doing. Now, if Louisville comes out there and takes care of business, then the Cutter Boley thing is just seen as, okay, well, Mark Stoops is just throwing stuff at the wall to see what'll stick. It doesn't matter. He sucks. But if he wins, then he has that carrot to dangle to once again get everybody back on his bandwagon of saying, hey, we can look to have prospects of the future. We got this true freshman that knocked off Louisville. Everything is fine in Lexington. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. This is a political move. That's all it is.
I get it.
It did not surprise me at all.
I get it.
That's all it was. I mean, so I'm not worried about Cutter Boley. If Cutter Boley was that good, he would not have been third string for the whole season.
You're right. He would have been playing a lot sooner. With the way that their season has gone.
Yeah, as bad as Brock Vandegrift has been, if Cutter Boley was worth anything, he would have been playing 5-6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a political move. I mean, that's all it is. He's a local kid.
Now,
that's
all it is. What do you think about Louisville going into this game, and more specifically this Louisville defense and their ability to get up for this game and come out there with an edge and that energy and that readiness?
Yeah. Well,
how confident are you? How confident are you that Louisville's going to be in that kind of position?
There's a couple things I expect. Okay, Kentucky has good skill position players. Barian Brown is a hell of a wide receiver.
He's all right.
Is a hell of a wide receiber.
Those two guys. He's not better than Ja'Cory.
No, not at all. But I go into this game expecting Barian Brown is going to have a big gain, touchdown, something like that. He's going to have one. Dane Key is going to make a couple of big catches. So going into this game, I expect 2 big Kentucky touchdowns. Okay, I expect long run, busted coverage. Dane Key runs for a touchdown. Barian Brown runs for a touchdown. I'm giving them 14 to 17 points off that immediately. Okay, so I'm expecting that. But the thing is, that's about all they should get as long as Louisville does not turn the ball over. We gave Kentucky 3 turnovers last year. Okay, like the issue has been with this game, Louisville giving extra possessions to Kentucky, Louisville special teams errors. If Louisville does not, it's the same thing as last year. And we said it, Roman, before the game last year. If Louisville does not turn the ball over, Kentucky cannot score enough to win.
Yes, that's exactly what we said last year. Yeah.
And it was the case. We gave up a special teams touchdown. We had 3 turnovers. And look, Louisville loses the game because they literally hand the game to them. So the way I go into this game, Roman, if Louisville does not turn the ball over 2 to 3 times, if we don't have a weird Isaac Brown fumble as he's going into the end zone or something crazy, like that's the only thing that can lose this game is Louisville turnovers. So, and I know Brom is going to be preaching ball security. He's going to be preaching taking care of the ball. And if Louisville can do that, I don't think Kentucky can stay within 14 points of Louisville if Louisville doesn't turn the ball over. Period.
I agree.
Think,
I don't think this offense is. Yeah, I don't think this offense is enough. I don't think a kid who hasn't started a game for you all year is going to be in tune enough with these players in offense to go out there and have real production. Granted, I do fear not fear, but Barry Brown, these receivers are going to go in juiced up, ready to feel like that they're going to have a chance to make more plays than they have had in other games.
Yeah,
and they might.
They might. But I'm gonna tell you what, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, Roman, I think Kentucky's best path to victory is not Cutter Boley. I think it's Gavin Wimsatt.
Yep. And your running backs. And
because he's a running quarterback. Yes.
And the run option.
That's their best chance to win.
Our linebackers haven't figured out the option with the quarterback and running back all year.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not the political play. Like that's not the political play.
Go out there and see if you can go out there and see if you can showcase Cutter's arm in a win or a loss. But as long as it's a competitive loss or a good, or a win, you know what I mean? Like I don't even think if Cutter looks good.
To me, with Gavin Wimsatt, you can run the ball, you can play ball control, you can, hopefully get those quarterback runs to keep the clock moving, play that slow down game, and just try to ball control Louisville to death. Like I think that's Kentucky's. I was coming into this game, I was much more worried about Gavin Wimsatt and his ability to run than anything that Vandergriff was going to pose as a passer, and Boley is a passer. That's what I was worried about. So I love hearing that they're just going to give the ball to Boley and let him go. Good. I will take that. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm feeling good about that.
I am too. I do. And on top of the fact, Kentucky's played horrible at home this year. I don't know why that's been the case, that they've played so bad at Kroger Field, but they've not played football well at home all year. Like they've gotten blown out multiple times at the crib. So, I'm just not worried about the game. Louisville's got the by far better team. It was wonderful to see. I did not expect for Isaac Brown to be back last week, and especially to play as well as he did coming off of his shoulder issue from the Stanford game. So the fact that he comes back, he played and ran the ball very well. I love the way Maurice Turner looked running the ball. And of course,
I love the way Maurice Turner looked blocking the passing, blocking the quarterback.
I mean, so I just Louisville has too many weapons. Ja'Cory Brooks is going to get him, 7 to 10 catches. He's going to have his 90 to 120 yards, and he's going to have at least 1 touchdown, if not 2. Like Ja'Cory Brooks, you can set your clock down. I have not seen as dominant a wide receiver as him since Deion Branch. Like Devontae Parker was awesome, and Devontae Parker was a big-time playmaker, but he would have
Deion Branch, you're saying?
Yes, Deion Branch was the most dominant, consistent wide receiver that I ever remember watching. And I've been around a long time, and I've seen a lot of wide receivers come through here, but Deion Branch was the most – you could set your watch by Deion Branch was going to have 10-plus catches, he was going to have around 100 yards, and he was going to have 1 or 2 touchdowns every time he got on the field. And that's what I feel like Louisville has with Ja'Cory Brooks. You can set your clock by him. He's going to make big plays, and no one can stop him. He's that dominant.
I think he's, this is his last game to showcase he should be in the NFL. And I think he's going to go out there and do it, Raashaan. I'm confident in that. I think Tyler Shuck's in the same way. These two guys, they this is it. This is it for them. Outside of the bowl game, which you can't guarantee they'll both play or they'll both play 100% in that game.
Yeah.
This is their last, go out there and try to win this game and showcase everything you can do as a football player. And Gelati as well. Like this is like, some of these seniors, they might not play in that bowl game, whatever it is, depending on who we get, where we go, whatever it may be. I think that Louisville comes out with more of an edge. I think Louisville seniors come out with more to show, more to prove. And then the guys that have been here, they don't want to lose again. Raashaan.
Yeah.
I know that's not a whole lot of guys, but the ones that I've heard that you got to think that they're in these guys' ears, like, hey, these cats have beaten us, whatever. It's time to get a win. We're better than them. We were better than them last year. We weren't able to do it. It's time to do it this year.
Yeah,
And
I think that the ferocity defensively that we saw against Pittsburgh of we're tired of this mess and we're going to come out and we're just going to dominate a team. I think we'll see that same attitude defensively.
Yeah.
Because most of these guys are back and most of these guys remember what happened last year. And I think that they want to win this one for Brom very badly, especially coming off last year. And I think that's going to resonate. So even the guys that weren't here, guys like TJ Quinn, guys like Ashton Gelati, guys like Des Tell, who were here last year, they're going to be like, yeah, we messed that up and we lost that game. And coach, that's a game that coach really wanted. I think you will see, I feel as if you will not see a tired, sleepy defense to start this game on Saturday. I cross my fingers when I say that because it could definitely happen again. But with the motivation of what happened last year, if you can't get up for this game this year, with what's happened this year, then you shouldn't be playing football.
Yeah, no, this is, even if you haven't experienced the rivalry, you're a part of it now. This is your year of being a part of it. You have a rivalry to be a part of now. This is your last game of your regular season game of the season. You go out there and do it. Raashaan. And
it's an SEC opponent on the road. If anything else, you're playing against an SEC team on the road. That's big time.
Who you haven't beat?
Yeah.
Who you haven't beat?
Go
it's time to beat them. It's time to beat them.
Week. That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. Feast
week.
It's time to eat.
It's time to eat. All right. Is there anything else in this game that you're going to be looking out for? Is there any unit of our team out there that you're going to be expecting to have a big game? Any specific players that you're going to be looking out for? Or is there any negatives that you're potentially raising an eyebrow at?
I would say the continued growth, I feel like the linebackers have been playing very well. Kentucky has struggled to run the football consistently. So I'm going to be watching TJ Quinn and those guys at the second level, at the linebacker level. I need to see those guys continue to play well, like the Louisville linebackers versus the Kentucky running game. Continuing to corral that Kentucky running game, because at the end of the day, Kentucky is not a good football team unless they can run the football. And that's always been the case with them, is that they want to run the football. They want to be physical at the point of attack. If we can continue to hold down that Kentucky running game and make Cutter Boley pass the ball in 3rd and long situations, that's what you want him having to throw at 3rd and 7 or more. If they can do that, that's probably the chess game right there, is can Louisville go out there and handle the Kentucky running game? If they can do that, the Cardinals will be in. So the linebackers,
handle the run game, you keep Cutter uncomfortable, you should have and you don't go turn the ball over when you have it.
Yeah, Stanquan Clark, TJ Quinn, TJ Capers when he's in there, those linebackers, Antonio Watts, those guys are going to be the guys that are going to set the tone. So I'm going to be watching those linebackers. It's a big game for the linebacking core. You got to be physical when you play against Kentucky. They're going to come in wanting to beat you up. They're going to be coming in trying to play that bully ball. They're going to do those types of things. And in those types of games, your linebackers have got to set the tone for the game. If they can do that, they'll be fine. I'm not really worried about, Deion Walker is a first-round pick defensively at defensive tackle. Kentucky's going to be disruptive, but hell, Tyler Shuck has been running for his life a lot of the year. So I'm not really worried about the Kentucky pass rush, because Shuck has shown such an ability to, move just enough in the pocket and get the ball out quickly. So I'm not really worried about that. That would normally be a focus of mine, but watching what Louisville has done versus, good defensive lines this year, I'm not really worried about that. So that's why I'm kind of keeping my focus on the Louisville defensive front, and especially the linebackers against Kentucky running game. If they can hold Kentucky to less than, let's say, 4 yards a carry, let's say they keep Kentucky somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 yards per carry, I think that Louisville wins this game going away. As long as they don't turn the damn ball over. Just don't turn the ball over. I think they're good.
I agree.
So that's my primary focus.
All right. I'm feeling good. You've shot my confidence up. I'm feeling great now about this game. I want to see Cutter Boley get sacked a few times, because he should get sacked a few times. And if you can get those sacks in early, get a couple passes deflected on long 3rd downs, he's not going to ever feel comfortable in that game because he's a true freshman. He hasn't been there. So, yeah, I'm right there with you, Raashaan. Let's jump to 5:30 today, though.
Woo.
Your Louisville Cardinals are playing for a championship.
Yes. Battle for Atlantis, baby.
Battle for Atlantis championship. Raashaan, I have a crazy stat I want to tell you.
Okay. I like it.
Today, Pat Kelsey has the ability to better or equal Kenny Payne's year 1 and year 2 Power 5 conference wins total. We haven't even started ACC play.
That's hilarious. Wow. Yeah, but you know what? That's where we're at, man. Like, this is what it's like. It's so funny. Like, it's not. I mean, it is funny to me, but just to see the emotional outpouring from so many Louisville fans that, like, I don't think they realize how much they missed Louisville basketball. And now that, like, because see, this is Roman. I'm not overly emotional about any of this because I know exactly how good my program is, and I know exactly the type of talent that my basketball team has. So this is what I expect. It's like kind of like what I tell my son. My son will go out there and have an unbelievable dunk in transition, and he's like, everybody else is cheering, but you're just up there stone faced. It's like, because I know what you can do. That's what I expect. It's like, you know, and that's the way I look at Louisville. Like, it doesn't shock me that this Louisville basketball team is good and that they're going out there.
But it has to feel like you've got to feel some kind of sense of, like, I haven't felt this feeling in 3 years.
It feels good.
Years.
It definitely feels good. It feels good. And
like, you kicked the remote.
Yeah.
When's the last time you cared enough to kick the remote?
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. That's fair. And it does feel good. And especially for me, because I felt like I was in crazy world the last couple of years because I continued to, you know, advise people how bad Kenny Payne was, and I had a lot of people telling me that I was crazy or I didn't know basketball. Which
you had a lot of KP Mafia supporters in your ear, didn't you?
So it does feel good from that, but I have never been one to hold grudges or to you know, want to have get back. So, like, for me, that's not the way I live my life. So I'm like,
that's
you know,
good. I need to get better at that.
It's whatever. I'm just happy everybody's happy again. You know what I mean? Like that.
If I saw Kenny Payne, I'd say something to him, Raashaan. Maybe with a cuss word in it. I have a cuss word in my statement to him.
Hey, you know what I would say to Kenny Payne? Look, man, you stole $16 million. Can you kick a brother a couple dollars? How about that? You know,
I mean, yeah.
Can I get a little something back from my pain and suffering, my mental anguish? Can I have a little bit of that? But you know, I mean, I am excited. But I expect Louisville to go out there. When I watch this team play, when I look at the statistics, when I look at what this team has been able to generate and do, even in the exhibition games. I know people wanted to downplay Louisville's success in the exhibition games and them putting up the crazy numbers and the crazy defensive stats and all of that. But, like, you are what your numbers say you are. And when you're going out there and you're putting up impressive numbers, I was even impressed with some of the numbers in the Tennessee game. Like I said, the fact that Louisville forced Zakai Ziegler into 11 turnovers, that says something about your basketball team, even in a blowout loss. Like, that tells me that you have a ridiculously good defensive team. Like, when you can go out there and force a top 10 Tennessee team into 20 turnovers, you're a good defense. That's not luck that you go out there and do that. When you go out there and get 30 points off turnovers versus a top 15, top 20 Indiana team, that's not luck. That's ability. So, you know, Louisville is a top 25 team right now. Okay? Like, people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Like, they are.
I'm just waiting for all those numbers to adjust the right way and stuff after this tournament because we're one of the best defensive teams in the country. We're not defending the rim well, but all around, just the deflections, the turnovers, the percentages from three we're allowing.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that it's funny because this Oklahoma team is pretty much going to be the same team as West Virginia.
Really?
Like, they're led by their point guard. You know, that they're a team that is scrappy. They're a little bit small. They don't have a DeVries, so that they don't have a DeVries
sniper that can just come off screens.
Yeah, like, they don't have that guy, but they do have a guy that, kind of like Javon Small, who's a very, aggressive scoring point guard guy who kind of leads them. But I like that because Chucky makes life for those guys very difficult.
Now everybody's discombobulated because he's not that player's not drawing every single defender into the court, and he's not opening up shots for everybody because Chucky's handling him by himself.
Yes, yeah. So and that's one of the reasons I like the matchup is
like
that to me, I think West Virginia is a little bit bigger than Oklahoma, but I think that they're
West Virginia is bigger than Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like they both play that physical kind of in your safe kind of football-ish type style aggressiveness, but they're not as big. I don't think they're as physical as West Virginia. They're like West Virginia light. I'll put it like that. Like they're good like West Virginia. I mean, I think that's basically what they did to Arizona was just kind of beat them up. And we're very aggressive and we're very physical. And they made Arizona look like a finesse basketball team, honestly. And that's what they did. I mean, that's basically what West Virginia did to Gonzaga is that they just made it ugly. They made it very physical and got those kind of finesse West Coast teams uncomfortable and really just kind of played bully ball. So I like the matchup because I think that Louisville's going to match that energy, but I think Louisville is a little bit more talented offensively. They don't have a Rain Smith. They don't have, some of the guys.
We're deep, Raashaan. We are deep. We're a true 9 deep.
Yeah.
And we've only got 8 at the moment. Like, no Corin. Corin's I don't think Corin's your 9th, but he's one of those 9 guys that is interchangeable with how you want to play. And there's not a lot of teams that can do that because all 9 of those guys can defend.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, what's up, Stone? How you doing? By the way, we just got a message in to say, "What's up, Ryan? What's up, Stone? How you doing, man? Shout out."
we got a message.
Yeah, we got a message in. So, what I'm saying, what's happening? Appreciate you listening today. I just saw it pop up on my messages.
But Stones.
No. Yeah. So Stone's checking in. So what's happening, brother?
Hell yeah. Appreciate you watching.
Absolutely. But I mean, I do. I think that the Oklahoma and West Virginia teams are going to mirror themselves a lot. I watched the game last night. That's who they remind me of. They're just I just don't think they're as good. I thought watching the two teams play, I felt that West Virginia was better than either Arizona or Oklahoma. So I think it's going to be a very similar game. Louisville fans, I'm going to tell you, expect to have a physical, ugly game. It could start slow. Oklahoma may even get out to a lead early, especially while Louisville is getting acclimated. But my hope is because now Louisville is starting to learn to play with that toughness offensively.
And they're getting to play that every day. I think that's helped us as well.
Yeah, I think that it'll help build on that, because I think we're going to have a few of these coming up because, hell, I was watching Ole Miss, which is the first game Louisville plays when they get back from the Bahamas. They are very similar to Oklahoma and West Virginia as well, very physical on the ball. So this is what I like it because Louisville's going to get used to it. By the time they get to conference play, we're not going to be worried about the physicality of the game because we're going to be used to it. So I'm excited to see how.
And not a lot of those teams in the ACC are going to be this physical as some of the teams we're seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Stone said, Roman, I've known that man longer than you've been alive. Go Cards. Y'all feel by 10 today and 10 plus tomorrow. That's awesome.
I see. Y'all old friends then.
Yeah, absolutely. My people.
That's cool that I've got, there's people who, watch us that have been friends with you for so long.
Our family, man. That's my people. That's my
Hell
people.
yeah.
But I do. I think that it's gonna be a football game. It's gonna be a football game. But hopefully Louisville shoots the ball. I mean, Louisville came out yesterday. They did not shoot the ball well. Case and Pryor. I was ready to throw Case and Pryor and Noah Waterman off the damn island. With that first half, shooting air balls.
It's like they are shooters who aren't shooting their shot. They're not shooting their jump shots.
To me, what it feels like, Roman, is like they're too amped up. Like it feels like their adrenaline is so high they can't calm down because when you shoot the ball, you have to have calm feet,
alligator arm and shit.
Yes, and like they're just throwing. Like it wasn't the shots weren't even close. Hitting the side of the backboard. Shooting the air ball, shooting the ball, 2 and 3 feet over the rim.
I don't want to see either one of them step back.
It's like, man, calm down. Like, just calm down and just. It seems like this. That's one thing about this Louisville team. It really seems like every game they've come in and been very. My son is videotaping me while I'm talking on the phone. Sorry about that. That's hilarious. But
Tell him you're live streaming. Cam, we're
right.
live streaming.
He stuck his phone in my face. But it's one of those things where it seems like these guys really have an issue managing the adrenaline early in games because they're so amped up. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to see if they start to kind of get more relaxed, and calm down and breathe and just execute.
Yeah.
Get into the and it'll subside at some point, but I think they're still getting used to that. But Pryor and Waterman, man, they had several wide open shots to begin the game yesterday, and we could have used that to get off to a. If they come out shooting the ball well early, we could have blown West Virginia out of that game.
Yeah.
In my
You can
opinion.
make teams you could just kill teams like that. When you getting open shots like that, and then their defensive mindset isn't preventing more open shots and they can't adjust. That's how teams quit right there. So you got to knock shots down early.
Yeah. Stone said the way Pryor started the last two games, I can see why Kelsey was bringing him off the bench.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh,
Yeah.
that first play of the game where Louisville gets the rebound and Pryor comes down, not a single pass, does like a reverse spin move, contested pull-up air ball in the middle of the lane. I was ready to get rid of him the first play of the game. Like Pryor, Kason Pryor is the ultimate I love you and I hate you all at the same time. Like I said, man, that dude definitely is the Edgar Sosa / Russ Smith of this team, where you have to take the good with the bad because I honestly don't think that he pays any attention to the game plan, the scouting report. It just feels like Kason Pryor's out there hooping. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever get that, Roman, when you watch Kason play? Like he's just out there just doing whatever the hell he wants.
Like he's kind of playing pickup. I was trying to set. I was literally because me and Trevor started the game off yesterday because he was still here when the show ended. I was like, I'm telling him, I was like, that looks like pickup basketball right there, and it's just Kason just running up. He's like, he's not even thinking about where he's supposed to be in this set. I'm shooting it. I got a little bit of space. I'm shooting it, and you can't be truly mad. Because he's open. He's getting open. He's making one little movement. He's getting open, but they're not fluid shots at all.
Yeah. No, Kason is just out there hooping. Now, like there's something funny about that because Louisville's had those guys in the past. Russ Smith was like that. Like you didn't really coach Russ Smith. You just kind of corralled him and tried to keep him in the team mind frame and mindset. You know what I mean? Like you just had to kind of, and Kason Pryor's that same way. He's so talented and he can do so many good things for you that you have to kind of just live with the Maverick in him because the Maverick in him is, makes a lot of great plays and the other team doesn't really know what to do with it. But it also means that sometimes he's going to come down and just shoot a pull-up 35-footer because he thinks he's Steph Curry.
Because he thinks he's Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
That's what I told Trevor yesterday that we didn't get to have it on the show. He thinks he's Jamal Crawford.
He does. So, you just have to take the good with the bad with Kason Pryor. But I'd much rather have him on my team than on the other team. I'll just say that. He'll get a crazy steal out of nowhere. He'll have a great defensive possession. He's always getting under the skin of the other players. Him and Noah Waterman are both very feisty for that. I think Noah has been the one guy that, like for Kason, I think that playing that way helps him. But for Waterman, I don't think that Waterman getting all amped up, I don't think that helps him play well. I think that makes him play worse. I really do. I think it bothers his shooting. I think that it bothers his defense. I think he ends up getting some silly fouls. But one thing I will say this about Waterman, Roman. Waterman has got to stop trying to bait the referees into calling fouls. Like there's a lot of times where he gets bumped and he'll kind of flail and lose the ball, or he'll get pushed off and he'll lose his man. You can't do that. You just got to just play strong, play physical basketball, man. Everything has got to be Big East basketball mindset. Just go out there and play through it physically.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that comment? I saw you pop the comment up on the screen. What was that comment?
That was the Russ Smith comment here. It's this is a double-edged sword, but I agree with you here. The Russ Smith mindset is what won Louisville a chip. Once Quick realized that he was better off like that, he just let him do it.
You got to live with Russ, the good and
It
the
also
bad.
costed us a lot of runs. It costed teams getting back into games, and it costed us games.
Russ Smith cost us that that Sweet 16 in 2014. I will die on that hill. Is that Russ Smith? I've always been one, and people can get mad at me if you want to. The guy whose jersey should be hanging in those rafters. I'm not mad at Russ, and I'm not hating on Russ for having his jersey retired. Peyton Sieva's jersey should be hanging in the damn rafters.
It'll get there.
Period. Like, I know people love points and people love high point per game averages. Russ Smith Peyton Sieva was the best player on that basketball team. He's the reason Louisville won that title. Russ is awesome and Russ can score, but that's just me. I've always felt that way, is that Peyton Sieva was the MVP of those 2 years, like what he did. But, Russ, points get the girls. Points, so when you have a guy that has a high point per game average, it is what it is.
It's hard for me there because I agree with you. Russ Smith or Peyton Sieva is probably my favorite UofL player ever because what he meant to those two teams and how, at the time, I'm not thinking this, but he didn't really get what you're talking about, like just how important he meant to both sides of the ball for us. We would. But teams would go on a run, and he would get us out of it, right? We'd have 2 or 3 bad possessions in a row, and he would go ensure that we had a good shot and made a good possession and found a bucket.
There's not very many players that have been back-to-back Big East tournament MVPs. And Peyton Sieva, both years, 2012 and 2013, back-to-back Big East tournament MVP.
Yeah.
So, that tells you exactly how good he was.
Yeah. Very much
to me, that right there, like when you go back, I don't care if you're talking about Allen Iverson, I don't care if you're talking about Ray Allen, you talk about the greatest players in the history of the Big East. I'm not sure how many of those guys ever won back-to-back Big East tournament MVPs, but Peyton Sieva did that. So, that's always been my assessment of the whole deal with Russ versus Peyton.
Yeah.
But, like I said, everybody sees the big scoring average. Russ averaged 22 points per game or whatever it was as a senior. So I understand why he gets a lot of the praise, but Peyton was always the better player.
I agree. The more controlled player, the less turnovers, better field goal percentage.
Everything. He was the spear of the head defensively, and offensively he got everybody every shot they needed when they needed it.
Yep.
And scored himself. So,
Yeah.
Shout out Peyton
on all 3 levels.
And my hero, number 3, baby.
My hero, literally. All right, Raashaan, this has been a great morning show. I want to ask you if there's anything else that you feel like we haven't gotten to or gotten at, or I feel like we've pretty much broke down all the key points of both the 2 games we've seen out of Louisville basketball and this game coming up today at 5:30 on ESPN against Oklahoma. And I feel like, we've been saying the same things for a couple of weeks now about this UK UofL game.
Yeah.
We didn't know Cutter Bowley was going to be in, but it's a true freshman. You go out there, you keep him in long passing, exactly. Long pass situations. You go out there, you take care of the football. You go out there and you prevent the run from killing you, and you shouldn't have any reason to lose this football game. So,
no, I agree with that. The one thing I will say, and we touched on it earlier, Terrence Edwards Jr. has got to be better.
He's got to be the guy. He's got to be
I know that Louisville's winning.
He has to be able to go get a bucket when we need a bucket.
He's got to get more confident being physical. People keep talking about he's not overly quick. And while that is true, he's still a 6'6", almost 6'7".
And he's twitchy and shifty enough to get enough space in the paint and make something happen.
I watch these other power guards bully their way to the basket, take the contact, get the foul and one, finish at the rim. Terrence Edwards can do that if he's
got hang time. You saw it in that second half yesterday. Yes, he can take contact, stay in the air, and get a good shot up on the rim. I think they missed a foul or 2.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's got to stop hesitating. If he stops hesitating, be assertive, be sure of yourself, be strong with the basketball. I think Louisville can win with him playing the way, but like in that overtime, Roman, at the last 5 minutes of regulation and the 5 minutes in overtime, Terrence Edwards was on the court, but Terrence Edwards was not part of the game plan. He wanted to stand over in the corner and be the guy who
You can't even
you
shoot in
know,
the corner. Why you want to be there for? You can't even
he
shoot
just he
well
was
in the
he
corner.
did he was in the game, but he was a part of the game plan defensively, and he asserted himself and gave great energy defensively, but offensively he did not want any part of that basketball. He did not want the ball in his hands. Every time he touched the ball, he immediately gave it up. I need to see Terrence Edwards going back to being an aggressive, confident offensive basketball player because he has it in him. I know he can finish. We've seen his finishing around the rim has been elite when he's been aggressive going to the basket.
True. Yeah.
So I need to see that more consistently. Other than that, I think I think Chucky Hepburn is going to be the Battle for Atlantis MVP, and I think Louisville gets the win today.
I do too.
I think they're going to come out and they're going to put on a show today against Oklahoma.
I'm right there with you, Raashaan. Raashaan, thank you for coming on and joining me this morning and being my special guest. Well, you were my co-host today, but I appreciate this. This has been the Real Spill Morning Show. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're having good family time at the house there and getting to have a good weekend and stuff. And I hope you enjoy this game tonight and we get a good outing. If there's any picks, well, I know it's we'll be on tomorrow morning. Actually, Raashaan, I needed to talk to you while you're here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm seeing tomorrow Southern Indiana football comes on at 10:45 or basketball. I've already said I'm not available to do that, thinking that they were
wow, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were like they assumed I would just work at 11 tomorrow, but because I'm already there at 11.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be off at 10:45 anyway, so
okay,
we might have to text Dave and figure that out. But
here we go. Programming.
I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, we should be on Wake Up 502 tomorrow morning, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we'll probably be simulcasting as part of the Louisville First Radio Network.
Yep, that'll be starting at 10 a.m. I believe, with us. So, it's like Paul Rogers' show and stuff. We'll be there before they come on. We should be simulcasting with that and stuff. So, Raashaan, if there's anything else you want to get out there to the listeners, if you want to give them any wishes, happy Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving wishes to anybody.
Absolutely. Shout out everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. My fam, shout out to Cam, Haley, and all the family. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Roman, a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Trevor, wherever you're sleeping, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Make sure you all check out Wake Up 502, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. Tomorrow morning, 9 until whenever they boot us off the air. It's going down. We'll get Roman's long form thoughts about the Louisville basketball game or football game, and hopefully we'll be discussing and breaking down a championship game victory for the Cardinals. So it's going down. Yeah.
Yes. Go Cards. All right,
Go
Raashaan.
Cards,
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate it. I'm going to end things right here. Like, subscribe, comment down below if you have anything you want to tell us or any thoughts about the things that we spoke on today. We'll be back next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. I'll try to get Raashaan on once a week if I can, and